Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, family. Good morning, Facebook. Whew. So, Psalm chapter 5. It's a prayer for guidance. But there's also some misconception that comes with Psalm chapter 5. You know, we hear all the time that the saying, it says, love the sinner, hate the sin, but love the sinner. And so Psalm chapter 5 says, give ear to my words, O Lord, consider my meditation. Give heed to the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for to you I will pray. My voice you shall hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning I will direct it to you, and I will look up. For you are not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness, nor shall evil dwell within you. The boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. You shall destroy those who speak falsehood. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into your house in the multitude of your mercy. In fear of you, I will worship toward your holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is destruction. Their throat is an open tomb. They flatter with their tongue. Pronounce them guilty, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against you. But let all, now pay attention here, but let all those who rejoice put their trust in you. Let all of those rejoice who put their trust in you. Let them ever shout for joy because you defend them. Let those also who love your name be joyful in you. For you, O Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor you will surround him as with a shield. Now in verse 5, it says, the boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. So this is where some people say that there's a controversial issue. They say, well, how does God hate the sinner when John chapter 3 verse 16 says that he so loved all the world? Well, Norman Geisler and Thomas Howe write, there is no contradiction in these statements. So there is no contradiction in Psalm 5, verse 5, and John 3 and 16. There is no contradiction in these statements. The difficulty arises when we wrongly assume that God hates in the same way that we hate. Hatred in human beings is generally thought of in terms of strong emotional distaste or dislike for something or someone. However, in God, hate is a judicial act on the part of the righteous judge who separates the sinner from himself. So, in the same terms, we try to humanize God when we need to realize that God's ways and his thoughts, they're way above ours it could ever be, and we could never fathom or even reason and comprehend who God is or his thoughts and his way. His way is beyond our comprehension. And so if we look at verse 5 in Psalm 5 and say, well, that there's a contradiction between John 3 and 16 and this verse, because this verse says that God hates all workers of iniquity, but John 3 and 16 says that he so loved all the world. We have to realize that we cannot compare the way we hate with the way that God hates. God's hate is a judicial act that separates the sinful man from himself. Our hate is based on our emotion. And so, like I say all the time, your emotion means nothing. It doesn't matter if you feel that something is okay, or if you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings by telling them the truth. That's okay. If you want to love them literally to death, love them to hell, then you go ahead and do so. And if you're more worried about how you feel about something than other than what God's word says, then let me suggest that you may be a far cry from the very righteousness of which God has called you. And with that, I want to say God bless you all. I love you. You all have a blessed day. Peace.